What's up? What's up? This is Royce the 5'9". I want to send a shout out to Mikey T, the movie star. Love and respect to all. Peace.
So I wanted to ask you, man, how did you end up reuniting with Eminem to record The Hell, the sequel album?
Well, I started a group called Slaughterhouse. I helped build a group called Slaughterhouse. We built it. We just got together and decided to just form a group. We were just being competitive rappers, on the internet, and it just started to, grow. And we ended up on the Rock the Bell stage, Rock the Bells tour. And we decided to record an album, put the album out. Came out #1 independent album in the country, #1 hip hop independent group in the country. And Shady reached out and wanted to talk about doing a deal over there with Slaughterhouse. So that's basically what happened. We did the deal with Slaughterhouse. We had some time to kind of rekindle the relationship, which it had been through a lot of tumultuous situations and shit like that, but it had been so long since anything bad was said or anything bad was done or anybody had feelings. Everybody was starting to just get older, tired of it. We all lost proof. Like people were less drunker. You know what I'm saying? Like, the energy just started to become a little bit more mature. I think it was time. I think we all were mentally in a space where we could intelligently and maturely navigate like a redo of the relationship. You know what I mean? I think when we were younger, man, it was just like none of us were used to, none of us asked for like fame and like a whole lot of like popularity and all this money and all of this shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I just don't think none of us dealt with it well, because we all kind of like felt like that we had to compete with each other. You know what I'm saying? I think it's just natural. It's just natural coming from that environment. That's what you think you got to do. You know what I'm saying? So it's real easy for us to kind of like go against each other and just kind of like try to one up each other as opposed to seeing the value and unifying. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of like what the jewel that we kind of like all took from, all of those years of just disparaging things. You know what I mean? So yeah, so we just went into it. We did the deal. We focused on the Slaughterhouse album. We had to wait like a year to complete the deal, to actually sign it, because of some prior business dealings that Joe had that needed to be worked out. So while we were waiting on that, we were kind of like in limbo. And I was already traveling with Marshall anyway. I was a part of his traveling party, like going on the road with him and shit like that, because he just wanted me to be around him. And one thing led to another. I played him a couple songs that I was working on. He jumped on a couple of them. One turned into two turned into three turned into four. Next thing you know, we pretty much had an EP done. You know what I'm saying? So we just decided, put this out. That's how it happened.
So how was the chemistry? I mean, like you said, it'd been several years. How was the chemistry getting back with one of your closer friends, like being friends, but then also jumping in the studio?
It was cool. That was the easy part. The work is never hard. You know what I mean? Like sometimes the politics can get the best of a situation, especially when you have other people with different motives and agendas just involved and just having to say, not being able to really communicate properly, and taking that communication for granted, and not really being intentional with, what needs to be said and what needs to be understood. Like that's a young person trait. That's like a pet peeve of mine now, to watch the youngins go through shit like that and me not step in and say something. You know what I mean? Because I just know from experience what can be achieved through the proper amount of communication and what can go wrong due to lack of communication. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I could have prevented a whole lot of fucked up shit. I could have prevented a whole lot of really bad shit from happening if I had just been sober, because I know I would have been able to talk and communicate my feelings and at least speak to whoever I needed to speak to and get the situation to a better place. Because none of these things are rooted in anything that's so serious. You know what I mean? Like, I can honestly say nobody's never did anything so serious to me that warrants all of this aggression and, you know, wanting to harm people and all of this shit, especially not in the rap space. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's just really just misplaced aggression. You know what I mean? Nobody really fucking hates each other. You know what I mean? Like, it's just that you can't harm whoever it is that you're really angry at. You don't know who that is, so you just harm the closest thing next to you, and that's your brother. You know what I'm saying? So it takes for you to go go to some wars to find that kind of peace. And when you find that kind of peace, then you realize how important it is to you. Then you start to really, really do this life shit on the right frequency. You know what I'm saying? That's when you can truly be successful. You can learn, you can achieve things, and you can also teach. So now you moving around with a purpose as opposed to just running around taking shit, harming people, taking shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's a slippery slope.
So Royce, I got to ask you about how Slaughterhouse came together with all the different guys from the, New York, Jersey, Cali, and Michigan. How did you all come together and form Slaughterhouse?
Well, Joe reached out to all of us individually and asked us to be on a song on a project he had called Halfway House. And when he got me on the phone and he told me who all was gonna be on the song, he said, Crooked Eye, you, Joel Ortiz. I said, damn, that sounds like a Slaughterhouse. And he giggled and said, I might call it that. And that's what he called it. You know what I'm saying? So the song was called Slaughterhouse. And when he put it out and he seen the reaction from the song, but when we seen the reaction from the song, we were just like, damn, the reaction was different. It was different from what we were used to seeing individually. So we just decided to just keep working with each other. And then, that turned into us feeling like, well, damn, maybe we should be a group. You know what I mean? So we just noticed that people liked just to see us interact. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't even just rapping on the same beats. It was like Joe would pull his camera out and like just upload videos of us just sitting with each other talking, and people would just be excited. We just didn't understand why, so we just kept doing it. You know what I'm saying? We just went with it because it felt right, and that's pretty much how it went.
So the first Slaughterhouse album was actually on E1. The second was on Shady Interscope. Why the change in labels? How did that all work out?
Well, we after we did the album on E1, it was really nowhere else to go but to a major. It wasn't like that we were thinking that we needed to go to a major, but all of us as MCs just really was excited about the possibility of working with him. You know what I mean? So I think that was like the main thing. That's what took us to a major. So that's pretty much how that went.
So why or what ultimately led to the group not doing more records? Was there not another album slated to release on Shady?
It was a multitude of things. But ultimately they made the decision that they didn't want to put out the album. It was a lot of things that happened. It was a lot of things that happened. A lot of people offended. A lot of people disagreed on things. When we came back to the table to do that last album that we never finished, we were just in different spaces in life, man. You know what I mean? Like I had just decided to get sober, so it was like my first year sober, and I was just adjusting. I was just readjusting to the world, so everything was just weird for me. You know what I mean? So I know I probably played my role on some level. You know what I mean? Like, nobody ever said nothing to me about it, but I'm pretty sure behind my back, somebody probably was like, yo, I hate when Royce do this, or I hate when Royce do that. You know what I mean? And then, Joe was Joe. He was doing the reality TV shit. He had jumped into that. So he started becoming like real famous in that world. whenever Joe would get famous, it was like his ninth time in his whole career being famous again. Every time he would get famous, he would turn into a jackass. You know what I'm saying? Crook, who used to be my drinking buddy, me and him used to get lit up together all the time. Nah, I wasn't there to get lit up with him, so he was getting lit up by himself. So he was just looking like the drunk one. He was just looking way drunker. Joel, I don't know what the fuck happened with Joel. Joel just decided to start working out, so he got real skinny. He wasn't getting drunk with nobody. Then he fell out with one of the managers. It was just a bunch of bullshit, bro.
So this is just a thought I had. Like, is there a chance of a new member being added, like in place of a Joe Budden if he didn't want to participate, or is all the music already done?
Yeah, no, that'd never happen. That'd never happen. We wouldn't even consider that. But yeah, no, the music is not done. But Joe's good. He didn't lead a group or anything. He just pivoted into the content space, you know. And that's just what he does now. That's what he does now. He's really, really good at it. You know what I'm saying? He hasn't rapped in a long time. We had some conversations about him coming to Detroit, fucking around in my studio. You know, he still loves it, you know what I'm saying? Just on some MC shit. But hey man, it's been like 4 years. That's a tough jump, man, like for him to just go that long without rapping and then jump right back in with us. Like Crooked I is not a nigga that you want to rap with when you ain't been rapping for 5 years, you know what I'm saying? So if he could figure out a way to just kind of like, you know, brush up on the skills a little bit, just tighten things up, you know what I mean? I think we would be able to do something, you know what I mean? But I'm always open to it. I just, you know, I'm not ever down to do it unless everybody is in 100%, you know what I mean?
That's what's up. That's what's up, Royce. And, you know, from what you said earlier about, you know, Joe Budden pulling out the camera and filming you guys all together, it seemed like he was generating interest in the community or even to the labels about all four of you guys coming together. You know, also another thought, if somebody were to be putting, you know, just to get back into it, a verse here and there with three other people would probably be a better way to get back into it.
Yeah, it's not it's not even like it's not like a situation where we are at some sort of like spot where we're perplexed or anything. Like we know exactly where everybody stands, which is actually a good place to be in, you know. It's just I understand where Joe is at creatively, like what he's doing. And in order for him to be able to scale what he's doing, as far as a media personality and a media mogul and building his new platform, Joe Budden Network and all of that, it requires a lot of his time. You know, he's never really been a multitasker like that. And quite honestly, when he was rapping, he's really lazy. He's a really lazy rapper. You know what I'm saying? So like, I just like, Joe will probably call me one day just out of the blue and just be like, yo, man, let's do some songs. Let's do a mixtape or something like that. Maybe he may get the bug or something like that. You know what I mean? But that's the only way I could see it happening. You know what I mean? But we got a release. We got the release from Shady. You know what I mean? So if ever we want to do something, if we decide to do something, it's always going to be, the opportunity will always be there. You know what I mean? Like, I have a label, you know what I mean? We're more than capable of releasing music and interacting with our fan base. You know what I mean? We don't need any label, any money or anything like that. We can do everything in house, be self-contained. You know what I mean? So if we ever want to do that, then we can do that. But other than that, man, I'm just happy that everybody is happy. You know what I mean?